Hello everybody. Today I want to tell you about the story of Marco Polo's journey. So today I want to introduce myself. My name is Alvero and I am from Scotland class. So now I'm gonna tell you about the early Marco Polo. So Marco Polo was born in Venice in 1254. His father's name was Niccolo Polo. He was born into a rich family, and his family was rich because he was a trader. And his father also loved to travel. So, in my point of view, for the opinion of his childhood, for me, his childhood was um, not bad. He was born into a rich family, so he didn't struggle that much. It's just that his father is kind of absent because his father liked to travel, like places far away. So usually in the past, if you travel, it can take up more than 2 or 3 years because they didn't have cars or planes back then. Yeah. So the beginning of his journey, so his father invited Marco Polo to China. Marco Polo was very excited because that was his first time traveling. He was Marco Polo was a curious person who loved to find and investigate new things. But the journey would be very long because of what I explained that there is no cars or planes back then. So when they are traveling, they usually use boats or animals like camels, horses, and more. Now, to add a topic and make it more interesting, I want to tell you about fun facts about Marco Polo because Marco Polo was a pretty interesting person and had an interesting tale. So, Marco Polo was away from Venice for 24 years, so that's basically like spending half of his life at traveling. Second, is that when he came back to Venice after 24 years, he got detained, or you can say arrested, because there was a big conflict in Venice. And in that prison, he wrote a book that went worldwide that I will explain later. What conflict actually happened that time? I didn't get much information on Google, so I don't really know. But there was a conflict when he came back because apparently he was detained in the prison. Yeah. For how long? Yeah, I didn't get that information too. So the journey from Europe to Asia is, so they first started to ride a ship to Persia, which how you call Iran back then. It was like a kingdom back then. And then they wanted to continue riding the ship to China, but they, the sea was too dangerous to them to. This journey was executed before after he was detained. Before. Before. In the prison, he wrote down the book. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So they wanted to continue to ride the ship to China, but the sea was too dangerous. Maybe it was filled of pirate ships or things. Then, so they went by land, and then when they are traveling, they discover new things like new languages and inventions like petroleum. Also, they have crossed the famous road called the Silk Road. So the journey back to Europe, Marco Polo wanted to go back to Venice after several years, like 24 years that I mentioned just now. Kublai Khan was the emperor of China that treated them very well because they like to trade with his father, Niccolo Polo. But Kublai Khan eventually let them through with one condition. They have to come back after several years. The Polo went back by sea, not land. But when they stopped to Persia, they found out that Kublai Khan had passed away. If there's any confusion, I actually had the slide where I explained for them about China, but it got erased and I didn't have time to make it anymore. So when Marco Polo wrote the book, when they went back to Venice, there was a conflict like I said, at Europe. He was arrested there, and then at the prison cell, he wrote the famous book called The Travels of Marco Polo, which explained the feeling of the world back then. So this is the end of this journey, or I can say the end of his story. After he came back to Venice, he became an trader at Venice, where he eventually married Donata Bador, who was his wife's name. Then they had three children, which was all girls. And then, after several years, Marco Polo eventually died at 1324. So, Mr. Pujo, do you have like any questions for me?
I do. Um, if you could summarize what we talked about, what is it? Is it about the journey?
It's like about the journey, but as I said, most of important topics, like the slide at China I accidentally erased it.
The question is, if you, what you have done is basically, there was nothing, so I just like interesting to listen. Like, it's only about, okay, when it started, and then how long did he stay there, and then he came back, and he was detained, that's it. And then he got back, and he married, and then he got three kids, and then he died. What we really want to listen is actually the journey itself.
So,
Okay, you mentioned just now that the slides have been dismissed, right?
oh, I can still explain the China slide if you want.
Sure. I wanted to listen. That's fine. This is right. This is the beginning. I was writing it down just to start because I was enthusiastic. You were performing so well when I was speaking, makes sense. But then after this, I didn't know what happened. So I want you to tell me what happened.
Oh,
This one.
after the journey.
Not after the journey, but inside the journey because they basically they wanted to go to China, right?
Yeah.
But then on the way, they were not having the sea trip, but they used the land trip. And then in the land trip, they discovered many new things, including the languages and inventions of petroleum. So that's what I want to know. Could you tell me?
So you want to know what happened in China?
And the journey to go to China and what happened in China, that one. Because I know after that, after there was like they stayed in China for about some 24 years, and he wanted to come back, right?
Yeah. So after he rode the camels and horses to China, when they arrived in China, they were greeted by the Emperor Kublai Khan. Kublai Khan treated Marco Polo very well and very good because his father loved to trade with Kublai Khan, which made him a lot of monies. And at there, they went on to live for 17 years or 18 years. At there, Marco Polo found and discovered many things and inventions like languages, and invention, like I said, like gunpowder, paper money, and more. After that, when they were in China, he wrote it down. I mean, like how do you call it? Try to remember it, to maybe write it in a note when he came back, because all of these were very interesting and different from, yeah, Europe. And I'm sorry if I presented it bad because I don't have the slide and barely remember it.
Maybe I will just like give you some questions because maybe all get the same time about telling the gender. Okay. So now we'll try to take step by step, right? So they were not directly landing in China, correct? So the trip and the journey when the professor go to China, what did he find? What did he find?
Yeah, as I said, he crossed, of course, they crossed many countries and also looked at many things and new things like languages or inventions. But what happened, like, if did they,
Why did he learn many languages?
when he was crossing many countries?
So this one, right? Before that we check, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then I'm not really sure if he meant like something bad or something uh, that happens, like meeting bad person. But in my opinion, I think he would meet some bad person, because in this world is not all good person. You can discover a bad person, if especially if you're traveling.
okay, it is coming in languages. I can tell you right now. When and how did he invent petroleum gun? When?
The people.
The petroleum, because
He,
of petroleum, right?
I mean, he didn't invent it. He discovered it.
Okay, what happened? How did he tell you? How did he discover
Like,
it?
how did he discover it?
And what was the petroleum about?
When he was maybe walking around the country, he saw something and then he asked, and maybe that's how he discovered it.
And what? An ash?
Ask, like, what's this?
Ask. You want
Ask, like, what's this and what's that?
What petroleum is that? Is it this common petroleum or is something?
It's like for fuel.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I know about this, because I didn't really search much, to be honest.
What is petroleum used for?
Now or then?
Then.
Maybe fuel for fires, or like campfires, because winter is pretty like dangerous back then, because they didn't have proper heaters or clothes.
Okay. Okay, China, what happened in China? What did he do? How long did he spend in China?
Like 17 years.
Okay. And what did he do
Yeah,
during his time for 16 or 17 years?
well, he explored China. He made many friends, and he discovered many new things.
What is the new things there?
Like
Do you know
things
that?
different from Europe, like paper money, gunpowder. Paper money, well, we use them until now to pay stuff. And back in Europe, they still use like heavy gold coins, that was not convenient, and gunpowder was used for maybe fireworks or weapons back in the day in China.
And what did the Chinese did not eat?
Oh, they eat noodles that were made of grains instead of bread, which European usually eat.
Have the bread one.
No, I mean, like, Chinese usually eat noodles back then, while European usually eats bread.
Okay. What made him want it to come back to his hometown?
Maybe he was just He misses his home where he was raised and born in. Maybe that's why he came back.
Why didn't Kublai Khan want to let him go?
Because Kublai Khan really liked them. Because after Marco Polo told many things across his journey, Kublai Khan was impressed, alongside his father who liked to trade items from Europe.
What made Kublai Khan in love to Marco Polo?
Like his bravery and his curiosity, like his bravery to talk to Kublai Khan because Chinese emperor back then was very cruel, and the bravery to talk to him and just tell him things on the journey.
I would say there was like one story about this where the end of his life, he was talking to the daughter. You know, did you know that? You know that the end of the story before
Before,
time,
uh,
like
it's like
and the doctor called him up and told him
to confess his lies because many people didn't believe him because
the doctors believed also.
no, the doctor didn't believe him because of how outrageous and different it looked. And I remember he said, "Tell your lies and stop." And Marco Polo in the end said, "I haven't told half of the journey." Yeah.
What does it mean by that? What does it mean by he said, I haven't told half of them?
It means that he has explored so much that he can barely put it all.
Okay. Last question. We know, right? This part of alcohol has been widespread and people. Me personally, I do like Brandon. I think when I was a kid, I listened to his name, but I have no idea about who personally he was. But it's about traveling. So in the point of view, do you think what he had experienced during his time
So,
was so great that people should know about it? Or is
because
it, or is it a common trip, a common journey?
it's not really a common journey back then, because back then people were pretty scared to travel out very far because it used to be very dangerous back then. So Marco Polo was said to be brave and wanting to discover new things.
So what makes it wow is that back then people were not used to going off the trip.
Yeah, because the safety used to be very low.
Do you like the story personally?
Yeah, I like the story.
Does it inspire you something?
Not really, to be honest.
Do you want to be a traveler, like
I
go
like,
around to some countries?
yeah, I like traveling. For me, it's fun.
And of course, in traveling, we are not going to escape some danger. So,
Yeah,
are you okay with meeting those dangers?
I'm fine because nowadays technology is very good, advanced, so our traveling ensures our safety more now.
Alright.
Alright, I think that's all. Thanks.
Okay. I have a question off the camera.